well, I did not play myself. Also, a slight disclaimer, I do know a bit about the first case in this one, not about anything else. So, yeah. That's about it, so let's get started. Title selection, well, I'd say new game. Yeah, let's stay with the HD variant. Turnabout Visitor. Start from this episode. So, let's try it. Episode 1. Turnabout Visitor. March 14. 1:16 AM. Location unknown. To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. March 14, 2:05 AM. Prosecutor building, 12th floor, hallway. And it seems we are starting here. Hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office and keeping it clean. The door's unlocked. Detective Gumshoe? What's the smell? It's very familiar. Blood? What the? What's the meaning of this? Freeze. Identify yourself. Shut up. Huh. You've got some nerve committing a murder in a prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. And so he leaves. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor in my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrusted into a multitude of cases and some very frantic and busy days. March 14, 2:56 AM, High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Forensics. I finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Edgeworth. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir! Oh no. Ah! Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Are you okay, sir? Oh, it's Gumshoe. Give it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that murder had taken place in your office, I ran here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with a local precinct, and the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine. However... look what they did to your office. It's totally trashed. I'll say, the culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. Whoa! Sounds like you are getting really burned up over this whole thing. This crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Oh ho! That's just like you, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep any leads and information we find etched in the forefront of my mind. Speaking of that, piqued my curiosity. Why of all places did the murder occur in my office? Crime scene, my office. Is it really coincidence that a murder took place in my office? Well, we're about to find out, I guess. I get a nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in my mind. Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you? No, not really, especially because of this. The key to your office? For security reasons, this office door has a lock built into it. Huh. Well. Maybe I'm a little too German, but I am used to, well, doors having keys to open or close them. Apparently, it's not the same as in, well, it's not the same in that Japanese-style California we are in. So. What do you mean, sir? If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you. Logic? By finding the connections between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic. So, how do you use it? First, I recall the information we've gathered with Q, and then I connect them together with T. Okay, I wonder, maybe I should have used the gamepad. What happens if... Aha! Well, alright. It appears my gamepad is fully functional here, so I'll just swap over and see to it then. Hopefully this works well and I did not lose any information about that. So yeah, first I recall information we've gathered with left bumper and then I connect them with using Y. Now, to use left bumper and to recall the facts. I'm using this. Nice, another good beat of music. Well, that brings into, yeah, honestly, I'm probably still a bit, I really need to get the hang of audio balancing, I guess. It's not really an easy task for an amateur like me. Alright, hopefully that is enough. Oh, right. Only works if I'm hitting. So, connecting the info. Crime scene, my office. Is it really coincidence that a murder took place in my office? Connecting with the office key. For security reasons, this office's door has a lock built into it. Well, I guess it's not that much of a coincidence to have happened here if there is a way to lock it. So, we connect those two. For security reasons, all prosecutors' doors are outfitted with locks. Which means it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as a mere coincidence. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir. There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after? So, the killer's goal. Why did this happen in my office? Or what was the killer after? An honest and good question. You're really on a ball today, sir. Miss Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir. Yes, well, when you follow leads to the conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. So that's our health, I guess. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we? Yes, sir! Begin investigations. High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Basics of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir. I know that. And when I want to examine something, I simply use A when I'm next to it. Oh, if you ever feel lost and want to talk, just use Y, okay? I give you great, precise advice as an ace investigator, sir. Something to try later, if I have free time, I suppose. Alright. So, with that, we're now really off. First time I can move around, it seems, and just let me check. Yeah, I guess everything should be running unless I have severely misaligned something here. Yeah. And so. So, what do we have here? That looks like a gun. What do we have here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean that a killer made their escape after disposing of a gun here. I think I've seen one of these before. Oh, that's Gumshoe. I think I've seen one of these before. Care to enlighten me as to where? Oh, I know! I was issued the exact same model, I think. Detective... I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they are really dangerous. But now that I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine though, except in emergencies. So that's why I didn't recognize it. So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by this precinct's detectives. Interesting. Do you have anything to report? Sir? Yes, sir. Nothing out of the ordinary right now, sir. And yet, there's something out of the ordinary right in front of my eyes. Ah, that's the officer. Talk about contradiction. Something out of the ordinary. Should look around a bit more. What do you have here? How's it coming along? Please, I need absolute silence. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art. Well, I never. Also, come on, it's obvious that there's something. I hope I can solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on this sofa. That thing looks a billion times softer than my mattress at home. Can I sit on it? Just for a little while, sir. Detective Gumshoe. You know I can't allow that. Until this case is solved, neither of us has time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I'm gonna work hard to be a real trooper to the end. Even once this case is over, I don't think he can afford to take any time off. So, any more? Well, it's a good thing my steel samurai doll was spared any harm. Speaking of which, I still haven't actually sat down and watched any of the show. What was it about again? Well, I don't know much about it myself, but the hero of Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo Tokyo is the Steel Samurai, and his goal is to defeat the evil magistrate. It's a show geared towards kids. However, its high production values and riveting plot draws in a number of adults as well. Spin-offs like Pink Princess, Warrior of Little Tokyo, and the Nickel Samurai, along with the deluge of merchandise and even a new stage show, give it presence. You sure know a lot. Are you sure you are not some sort of rabbit fanboy? Of course not. Anyone that keeps up with society knows at least this much. And that conversation lasted longer than I expected. Let us return to the investigation. Oh, it's your trophy. The Knight of Prosecutors, right? King of Prosecutors. Mine is not a trophy, it's a shield. I only sent this to the winning prosecutor, right? Yes, but I have no real interest in perceived worth of other people. As for my own worth, that is something only I can determine for myself. That's so slick, sir. I'm gonna have to try saying that sometimes. Unfortunately for him, his monetary worth is tied directly to his worth to me. Well, Edgeworth. Very nice of you to be at least not an absolute dick, but close enough, I guess. So. Watch out for the he-cop fragments there, sir. Ugh, that killer's going to pay. This T-set. Yikes, you're really mad over this. This T-set is very dear to my heart, and it can only be bought in England. It costs more than your whole month's paycheck. What? Now I feel like the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks. Sorry for coughing. I finished photographing the body, so it should be alright to examine the area. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. It's a crosshair. An investigative crosshair. What do we have here? I think I've seen one of these before. It's a police badge, detective. Oh hey, the exact same thing, actually. What a coincidence. Dink. Let's take a look inside. Mr. Buddy Faith. Would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. According to the badge and ID, Buddy Faith was a precinct detective. Oh, that's curious. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Not calmly use some logic and figure out any of them are connected to each other. Well, I could do that, or I could at least try to gather some additional data. Let's see here. There's blood all over his lower abdominal area. Looks like the bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir. In other words, he was shot. Yup. And until the autopsy is done, I don't think we'll know much more than that. Please, have your body sent to the morgue once we are done processing the crime scene. The crime scene notes. Bullet went clean through the victim's abdomen. The body was found around 2:05 AM. Another report, sir. Are you going to be okay keeping track of the evidence we find, sir? Of course. It's the safest way to... That's the safest way I know how to keep track of it all. Right, if you say so. Keep all the evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece of butterflies, right bumper to open the organizer. But the organizer is only for evidence. I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking facts off. I say he's right about that one. So, is blood on the... I don't believe it! I packed those files on those shelves so tight that not even an earthquake could have made them fall off, but just look at them! At this rate, the rest of the files won't even be able to withstand an earthquake at all. The problem, to be sure, well, once the investigation is over, we'll put them back on the shelf. Now I'd say there's a lot of other curious things here, namely something that almost looks like writing. And a big-ass case of other books. Your files all scattered on the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer. Oh, I try so hard to keep this place spotless while you are away. I mean, this just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I water the flowers every day, just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day, every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life? Let's see, maybe there's something else. A lot of ground to cover, but there's nothing of interest here. Yep, exactly that. Let's see, maybe the chessboard is nothing. Ouch, they've knocked over your chess set. I had it all set up, ready for when you got back. I figured we could play a few games. I had no idea you were interested in chess. I'm actually pretty good at checkers, but so I thought I'd give it a try. In that case, I suppose I can set some time aside after we solve this case. Though I don't expect the games to tax high mental acuity much. There's something else with the desk, maybe? It's been a while since I've sat at this desk. Oh, how I've missed you. It's so tidy that it looks newer than when I first bought it. Oh yeah, that thing's so polished it makes mirrors jealous. Don't tell me you had no other work the entire time I was away, a detective. My job is to protect your office, sir. And you did such a good job protecting it that a murder occurred in it. That's harsh, sir. I have to admit, the desk has never looked better, so I guess I can't duke his prey. dock his pay. Blech. Yes, I can English. Well, let's take a look. The most important evidence of all, my prosecutor's badge. If it wouldn't fail everything, I'd combine it with everything. Proof of my profession, however, I prefer to keep it in my pocket. The crime scene. A bullet went clean through the victim's abdomen. The body was found at 2:05 AM. So, rather early on the day. So we have also the profiles of Buddy Faith, a detective in this precinct, and the victim. Why was he killed in my office? And of course the Gumshoe, homicide detective at the local precinct, in charge of the initial investigation. So, let's see what we have and what we can guess. Let's see if I can more precisely guess something. Well, one thing that, at least surface level, appears to be rather obvious, considering that the victim was a detective and we have a sign that the murder weapon, or at least what we perceived to be a potential murder weapon, is a, well, gun as seen usually in the precinct. It stands to reason that with all of that appearing on the same in the same location, the gun could potentially have belonged to the victim. Doesn't explain why, but it could be a lead. I'd say let's try. The revolver, a standard model used by detectives, could it have belonged to a recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body for one more time? Yes, sir. On it now, sir. Excuse me, player. Let's see what we got here. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. This guy's wearing a gun holster. So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Victim's revolver data jotted down to the organizer. It can be assumed that this gun is the murder weapon. It may have been issued to the victim. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. I always say you've got to look very careful at each piece of evidence. You can use right stick to rotate an object. There's no such thing as a bad angle. Use left bumper and right bumper to zoom in and out to get at the nitty-gritty. Alright, let's see. To think that it's so easy to take a life with just the pull of the trigger. You know, I can't ever see myself really liking guns. Oh, but I love the ones they use at track and field. Meets to start races. Well, yeah, no wonder if you like load things with no guns. If you take off before it's fired, everyone always ends up following your lead. They chase you down for a false start, detective. Now that you mention it, even when I finish first, I always wind up in last place. Wow, what a great data point. We have a cylinder. Can we open it? Yes, we can. It looks like only one round was fired from this. So fully loaded, but only one was fired. Oh, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot after wrestling the gun from him? Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? I've no proof for now, but that is a distinct possibility. I guess this is all we're going to find out. We should send a body out to Jim! Oh, why? How could this have happened to a guy like you? Are you right? Don't touch me, leave me alone, just let me be. Well, we already know from the flashback that he is pretty much guaranteed to be our killer, but there's still the big ass question of how, why, and all of that stuff. Sorry, but I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he just turned in for the night. Sure, just in a blood-stained suit, pal. Well, my manners. Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes, I am. I'm Jarkes Portsman, prosecutor. Would that be pronounced Jack or Jarkes? I mean, I don't have many of you right now live, but does anyone know? Well, there's my still empty chat if you want to say something about it. Well, back to business. Jim here was my partner in crime busting. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I'm also a prosecutor. Detective Dick Gumshoe, sir. So, you're Miles Edgeworth. I guess this is your office? Yes, that is correct. Then it was you! You're the one who killed Jim. Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not. I know how things work around here. High prosecutor's office doors are all locks. High prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them, and only the owner of the office has the key to his or her own office door. That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner. Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth has been overseas on a business trip this whole time, pal. And the lock and the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So, the only one who could have got in and out was me. Ho ho ho! Wait, that means... I'm not sure what this means. So it was you then! You, Jim's killer! No way, pal. You've got it all wrong. Everyone, calm down. Me? Mr. Portsman, correct. If you're a real prosecutor, you should know to stay collected. The investigation has only just begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions? Oh, right. I get a point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You sure are one cool customer though, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know. Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? A pleasure to work with you. You guys were conducting an investigation, right? So if you're barging in like that. Carry on then, it's your room after all. Thank you, I intend to. I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there, sir? I want you to capture this scene on film for me. A final farewell to my partner, Jim. I should probably give them some space. Just a second. They Okay. Sorry, I just need to do something a little. Where it is? So, yeah, sorry. I just got asked to send my channel to a few people. Dun da and dun da do. Alright, I guess if I'll make a recording out of this, I'll cut this part out. Well, back to business, I guess. Oh, on that note, records, save. Why not make a manual save if I'm already in the menu? So, back to business. Because there's something ominous here. Well, or more curious, considering it's hidden behind a painting. Ah, your jacket, sir. What it's doing on the floor? What's it doing on the floor? Must have been fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing around. Wait. I smell a contradiction here. If that was the weapon that killed the victim, and the and someone tried to fire around in terms of threatening me, then why was only one round fired? So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well? They dared to shoot the ultra special jacket that you made your prosecutor's debut in? What if they'd shot through it? It would have been a disaster. It's not worth getting worked up over, detective. Not when there's something more here. Huh? Like what? I take it you haven't noticed it yet, detective? There's a giant contradiction right in front of us. Really? Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I sound like him. For those who don't know, he is talking about our good friend Phoenix Wright. But I have my own methods, and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when my deductive skills come into play. First, I have to find a spot that holds the contradiction. That's it. Bullet hole is where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should point my cursor at it and press Y with conviction. When I have found sufficient proof to prove my contradictions, I will present it. This is how I do things. In this case, yeah, it's already connected, so there we have it. The gun, only one shot has been fired. However, the victim has been shot, and it has been shot to threaten Edgeworth, so... Well, why is only one of the shots fired, if two have fallen within this whole ordeal? Looked like only one shot was fired from this. Well, so the killer... yeah. I accidentally got into re-examining it, yeah. Back and present. Eureka! This bullet hole is the contradiction. What? What do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first felt the victim, and the second felt this frame. That's right! However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true too. Which means that one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Well, or the gun was reloaded, however, that's another question entirely. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? And there we have another piece of evidence. But, by the way, I noticed something, sir. Yes? What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Ah, there. It's a secret safe. A secret safe? Oh, I smell money. I smell some trouble and just say nothing like what you're imagining is inside. Now if you would kindly move this frame out of the way. Roger that! That's such a... Talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while. I had no idea there was a safe here, or I'd kept it clean for you, sir. So, when did you put this thing in? Oh, it wasn't something I'd installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So, what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now? Nothing. I only use them to store especially important evidence when I trial is in session. That's it? Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. And another piece of evidence, my secret safe. Each prosecutor has one, only they know of them. Usually for trial evidence only. I'll rest until I've back at every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Alright. The safe itself, of course. Never knew there was a safe back here. Well, if detectives knew about them, then they wouldn't be a secret now, would they? Are there any other secret hidden things in this office room? Even if they were, it would defeat the purpose of them being hidden, if I told you. So don't bother looking for them. So, there's no, like, hidden camera around, right? And what if there was? No, it's nothing. Forget I said anything. I didn't want to ask what he's been doing in my office while I was away. Oh, there is the keypad and a strange smear around it. Oh, this is odd. You found something, sir? This keypad. Don't you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust all around it, but not on the keypad itself. You there, forensic scientist. Oh, that's actually you there, forensic scientist. Yes, sir. Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You get it, sir? Couldn't find, let alone lift a single print. Looks like it was wiped down well. So, whoever was it wants to be unnoticed and knows to clean it. Apparently, considering all of the time I was away, I'd say this safe is not as safe, and the well, someone at least knew about it. Considering the circumstances, it had to have been a prosecutor or someone at least knowledgeable in the secrets of the prosecution. The thought. It appears that logic is the only way around this setback. And to rationally, calmly connect the dots with the information we have. Can I re-examine? So, connecting the dots. So, we can assume that the killer's girl has to do with potentially what may or may not have been hidden in the safe, considering the, prints are clean wiped off. And it is a connection made. I believe I figured out what the murderers were after. What is it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that a criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motive for breaking and entering theft, I believe. I wonder if knowing that the motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other pieces of information they can tell me about this crime. Well, if the motive was theft, then the signs of struggle could be related to it. There may be a good chance that this was hasty ID data collection instead of just a simple struggle. Time to connect a few dots, hopefully. Seems to fit. There is a possibility that the piles laid on the floor are not the result of a struggle between a victim and his killer. Oh, you mean like it could be when the killer tried to find something, sir? Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen. Yes, sir. I'm going to shelf files like like you've never seen before, even at the library. Sure, let's give it a try. Why do all the good ones have to die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All I can do is search for the truth. And? So what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth? First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place. You got it. Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that book goes there. You sure know a lot about where things go, despite it being Mr. Edgeworth's office. Because I'm the one who keeps a tidy pile. Okay, done. It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here. Oh, the bloodstains on the bookshelves are still fresh. I suspect the victim was held in a standing position, hence the victim's prints on the shelf. And then the guy fell onto the floor. Right? The blood on the floor is kinda grossing me out. Detective, I don't have time to deal with your weak stomach right now. But you know I'm no good with blood, sir. Certainly there's something wrong with this picture. Oh, let's give it out, huh? Put them all back, just as they should be. Don't look like anything's missing. Although it does look like the killers moved the body to flip through my shelves. Wonder if they found what they are looking for. So, what do the fingerprints tell us? The victim's handprints. Must have tried to support himself with his hands after being shot. There are prints on the floor too. Those must have been made when, unable to stay standing, he dropped to the floor. First, the blood here. It appears that the victim was in a sitting position here after being shot. So that's why the seat of the victim's pants has been blood on it. That would be the logical conclusion. When we examine the handprints, we can't. the victim again. Killer moved body because it was leaning against the bookshelf. The blood on this guy's pants proves that pretty well. Seems in a sense, I suppose. See, I'm not completely useless, Mr. Edgeworth. However, then why is there a bullet hole? So this is where the bullet lodged itself after it went through the victim, sir. For the bullet to lodge so squarely in a file's spine indicates that's a file. So were ransacked after the shooting occurred. But I guess the victim was moved because he was in the killer's way. However, there is a bit of a severe contradiction here. If... well... if that is where he... Can I place a... wait, can I make it... no. I can't, so it has to be here. There's a clear contradiction, considering the handprints in the cage that he has been shot while standing. So, only one shot was fired, yet that shot is lodged. Yeah, no wait. I wonder what side will be the proper contradiction. The bullet hole in the lower case, while the bullet having gone clean through, only one shot once. Indication of it having gone clean through contradicts the shot here. I know these games are a little finicky on what exactly you need to combine, so... will this work? There's a clear contradiction here with the bullet hole. What do we mean, sir? You don't see it. Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher up. But what if the guy was shot while he was sitting or lying down, sir? That would be illogical. The victim leaned against this shelf here after being shot. To me, why the hell am I getting hungry again? Well, time to get at least a bit of fluid into me, I guess. Which suggests he was standing when he was shot. And that means... wait, what does it mean, sir? It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, it means someone made a faulty assumption. And it was from this mistake that our current contradiction was born. What's the faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole position? The order of the files, of course. I believe the order of the files is a bit off. You mean I put them back in the wrong order just now? I actually think the label on these files are wrong. Oh? Yeah. You should see how the files that were shot begin with the number O. What I was doing all the way down after 1, 2 and 3. That's really weird. Actually, the way they are organized right now is the correct order. Exactly as I see them in my mind's eye. But the numbers are all out of order. Those white binders are special, so they are arranged a little different. But from this, we know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. So that's it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption as you just did, detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out. You think it's okay to prop the body back up to how it was before it was moved? I finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. As I suspected, a bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files first, before shooting Mr. Faith. And then put the files back in numerical order. I guess. Exactly, and then proceed to shoot the victim? But why would someone kill a man just to look through your files one more time? Puzzling indeed. Files were thrown into disarray twice, once before and once after the crime. Why? Now the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look. The suspected bullet hole is what would logically be. Now we figured out that the killer went through all of your bookshelves twice? Indeed. There are many things the killer did that don't make sense. But to figure out why, I need more information. These handprints belong to the victim, right? They make sense of the body position. Yes, he must have left them as he was trying to support himself after he was shot. However, the final position of the body shows that it was moved. I need to go through this crime scene with a fine-tooth comb one more time. Victim himself. There must be some reason why the victim was moved. But there's no time to ponder that now. Let's continue with the investigation. Roger that, sir. I'm rearing to go. On the floor. Yeah, of course. Thing I already said. This. What's this? Why does it say gumshoe on their blood? I'd say there's some incredibly incriminating evidence. Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed. Oh, wait. There's gotta be some mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me say something, sir? It appears one of my files was stolen. That also, what about me and my situation? Is this what a killer was really after? The stolen file has been ordered, jotted down to my organizer. Basic investigation completed. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And this most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is the guilty party. If you're going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being a culprit, I sincerely hope you have proof to back it up. Jim's words were more than enough, wouldn't you say? If that's how you want it, play it. Then at least allow me to understand your reasoning. You got it. I don't like it one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. And there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you going to do? What I always do in court, I'm going to cross-examine him. One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with his technique. And how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? Might as well. Right, first, I'll listen to a witness's testimony. I find a flaw in the testimony, something that contradicts the evidence. I open my organizer with the right bumper and present a piece of contradictory evidence. To present something is simply press Y. Well, that's all news. But it's not like there's gonna be a flaw in their testimony every time, right? Correct. And at those times I need to press the witness with the left bumper. Sometimes by pressing I can draw out new information and a new modified testimony. I think I get it, sir. I'll be sure to try this technique out during the investigations too. Very well. I'll even show you how it's done. Now watch carefully. Mr. Portsman's logic, but... well, sorry to my sparing... yeah. Sorry to my sparingly small audience right now. Give me a few minutes. I really need to at least put something to prepare. See, I really need to eat something soon, so back in a few. I will leave you with this. Honestly, does music start if I progress to the first bit of his testimony? Good. I'll leave you with this bit of investigative music in order to entertain you while I quickly prepare something. Alright. Well, yeah. Sorry for that little intermission, so to speak. I honestly have no idea why I'm already hungry again, but well, it is what it is, so to speak. So, let's get back into it. Also, hier. Via testimony. Detective Gumshoe. You stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead. Furthermore, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice. I tend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer. I can hear him, Jim's voice. He's been calling for his killer's arrest. Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portsman? There's no way Detective Gumshoe's the culprit here. You will find the flaw in this man's logic and expose it with credible evidence. Oh, my rebuttal. Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim's gun from him and shot him dead.
Hold it!
No, there's something I've been meaning to ask. What is it? Why do you call the victim Jim, when clearly his name is Buddy Faith? Isn't it obvious? Jim is the perfect name for my companion. Jack and Jim. Don't those two names go together like peanut butter and jelly? But Jim isn't even close to the guy's real name. Well, Jack and Buddy sounds off somehow. Besides, he was the third of a bunch of guys I decided to nickname Jim. He talks about the victim like he was his pet. Further, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed theft instead.
Hold it!
Let's see what he has to say further. You really think it was necessary to shovel my shelves twice to do that? That's true. Okay, then maybe his real intent was theft. Hey, why are you accusing me of stealing something from Mr. Edgeworth? It's a possibility. Maybe your salon's been cut so much that your life's getting a little too rough to handle. I'll have you know that I eat 3 square meals every day, pal. Okay, so all 3 of them happen to be instant noodles, but... Poor thing. What an evil prosecutor you were paired up with. And what a motive, no? That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf.
Hold it!
And why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing? Because the body was getting in his way. You had to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters his body was hiding.
Hold it!
Anything more to say about that? Why do you think that the killer didn't notice the bloody letters? The body was covering it quite well, wouldn't you say? That's how he missed it. But judging by what I've seen, it doesn't take much for your detective to miss something. Who do you think you are? You know nothing about me, pal. There's a lot a person can understand about another from first impressions alone. Can't say I disagree with him on that point. Why Why don't you say something, sir? Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Despite his lack of attention to detail, I don't believe the detective to be the culprit. Nobody could have overlooked the bloody letters, and I can prove it with evidence. I couldn't ask for a better setup. But a game-finishing spike. And it will be by his final words that you'll be brought to justice.
Hold it!
Are you saying that those letters were intended for you? Yep. Jim was an outstanding detective. I would expect no less from my former partner. Looks like Mr. Portsmouth still doesn't understand. It's yet to figure out the true meaning about those bloody letters. What are you spotting over there? Can't you just admit my logic is perfect? Sound? Actually, there's a giant flaw in this logic. The gap's so wide that even the good detective can spot it. Now, to clue Mr. Portsman by presenting him some evidence. Well, let me see. Let's hope that this works. The games of that category are finicky when it comes to when and how you need to present something. Self-defense make it look like you had committed theft instead. Now there's a question. Do I need to press it further, or in order to find the right point, or is that the point to present it? Because obviously there was a book taken out after after the letters have been placed there. So let's try. Oh.
Objection!
Apparently I did it. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Bring a bit of the courtroom into this, I see. No problem, I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me? Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking, I get it. If you have the time to laugh, then you have the time to take another closer look at this. Do you still not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? Oh, that's impossible. What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When a killer went to take the file after murdering your partner. I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters written on the spines.
Objection!
It's possible they could have taken the file before committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters in the detective's name were... sorry. The missing letters in the detective's name where the file should be as proof. Yeah, I mean, the S is gone, and there's only half of an H. If Detective Gumshoe really was the culprit of this case. I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written on blood on the file. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Yeah. Which means what exactly? What does that make this dying message? Which makes it the work of a criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. That's so low. I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir. I'm gonna get him, sir, you'll see. I'm gonna have them under arrest in no time. Well, Mr. Portsman. Brilliant. Absolutely splendid. Logic deserving of Olympic gold. I appreciate your praise, but it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. Nah. You win some, and you lose some. That's how life goes. Glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. Ah, what you know, it is really a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. Miss Edgeworth just proved that I'm innocent, pal. That's absolutely right, and I acknowledge your innocence. And why do I sense that you still have something to say? That guy really likes his jacket. Well, I was thinking, did you know there's one other person with a key to this office? One other person? Hey, you there? Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort that lovely young lady here for me? Lady? The girl's a member of this building's security. I think her name was Material Witness? Security? Is it security? No, stop it, pal. Don't. What's wrong with him all of a sudden? I believe she needs no introduction. I've called upon Miss Maggie Bright. Miss Maggie Bird. A member of security. A Detective Gumshoe, sir. Maggie! Miss Bird is the security guard on watch tonight. I see. Your point is? My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in this building. What? If you're not a guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird. How dare you! I would never sneak into someone's room. That's right. I refuse to believe that Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me, that's right, I did it. Can I take that as a confession, detective? Well, wasn't really me, but definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So, yeah, it was me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right? Please refrain from flying off the handle, detective. There's no need for such theatrics. Listen to your boss, detective. He understands what I'm saying here. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime. And for one simple reason. A reason for suspicion. It's pretty obvious. Miss Bird snuck into your room using your master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that only leaves Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows her good detective, doesn't she? Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message. So you're saying she used the master key. The master key has been added. Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say? That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well. That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. So all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like me. I wonder if there's anyone else other than Miss Birdie who could have used the master key. Seems that the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him. So, time for a pressing matter, I guess. Pretty obvious that Miss Bird snuck into your office room using the master key.
Hold it!
Are you sure Miss Bird is the only member of security who could have used the master key? There's only one person on staff this time of night, and tonight, there she said. Just a moment. I did notice a bit of a discrepancy in my data here. Sorry. There's only one person on staff this time of night, and tonight, she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bird? That's true, but wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say. But you can't really trust her not to tell lies, plus I hate wasting time. Should I hear Miss Birdie out? Of course. Oh, I did just a moment. I'll be back in just a second. I need to get something. Of course, I got notified that something to eat to keep me going is, well, now ready. Alright, I'm back and I hope what I have in front of me will not be too crunchy for all of this. But yeah, someone I need to eat, sadly. Yeah. Not so fast. I too am interested in hearing what Miss Birdie has to say. Didn't I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that. Miss Birdie, would you please? I discovered that the master key was missing around 1 AM, sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Waltzman, I believe this is I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you? I can't believe someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir.
Objection!
If that's the case, then I'd like to know, why do you have the master key now? I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. Ha! A likely story. And where's your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things. I can practically guarantee that. Me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal, trust me. You don't want to test just how bad her luck is. Unfortunately, I can't deem this a piece of testimony as conclusive. But you agree, Mr. Edgeworth? But you still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. Motive? Didn't we already establish it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. That is as Mr. Portman says. Detective, can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive or theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time for a counter-effect with a few facts of my own. Intent? From the messed up shelves to the wiped down safe, I'd say thievery. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe hasn't opened the door.
Hold it!
I thought we had established that Detective Gumshoe was in here since pretty thoroughly. It was just a theory, one hypothesis among the many possibilities. I mean, I had my doubts about Miss Birdie from the very beginning. If that were the case, why didn't you mention her first? Now, don't make that face. See, there goes the truth, running the other way. Let's pick up the pace and see where we can catch up to it. I don't think you're catching my drift. But we are in agreement that the detective isn't the killer, right? If so, then I hope you'll understand when I say. And said she's the only one who could have opened the office door. And that leaves only Miss Birdie as the prime suspect.
Hold it!
Don't you think that's a bit early to jumping to conclusions? I am saying there's another way to open a door, rather than with the master key. Oh, I get it. Perhaps you had a spare made for someone else. If you know, I have never made a spare. So what are you initiating? Nothing. Guess I should have known better than to suggest that someone like you would. On top of which, she knows our detective, doesn't she?
Hold it!
Is there anyone in this district who hasn't at least heard of Detective Gumshoe? Good point. He's practically a celebrity among the prosecution. Really? I never knew what was talked about, sir. We're holding a collective breath, you know. But when you screw up so bad, you're literally chased off the force. Wait, what? Is that true, Mr. Edgeworth? Of course not. That's hogwash. Yeah, don't scare me like that. I almost had a heart attack there. Make it all the more probable she's the one who faked the dying message.
Hold it!
By dying message, you mean the bloody letters on its, that's spelled gumshoe. I figured that whoever wrote the name must have wanted to frame him. And just the act of choosing his name is proof enough the two knew each other well. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and present some evidence. I would love to. First, I would listen a bit more and digest what he is saying. Impress him for my information. So, we better get a beginning. Let me swivel through while I am also taking a bite. Well, it seems at least my chewing doesn't really pick up, but yeah, guess my biting may. Yeah, I believe I can do this because on the theory side, only the prosecution should have knowledge about the safe. So, considering that not only has it been found but wiped clean means that, well, either this was the most thorough search ever, or of course that whoever looked did well, check the safe in particular.
Objection!
You wish to continue, you're insisting that Miss Birdie was set on stealing something. Or not? It's the truth after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole thievery conclusion anyway. That may be, but you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe. The existence of which only privy to prosecutors. I find it a little hard to believe that a hidden safe was a part of her cunning plan, but she could have found it by accident while she was turning everything else upside down. Well, I doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly that what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Yeah, and I didn't know about the safe, pal. Well, that means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then, are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion, that's definitely looking more and more probable. Was one prosecutor? I have a different suspect in mind now. Curses, why? What made you? What's with the angry face all of a sudden? It's all my fault. What do you mean? That's Jim. He knew about the existence of secret safes. Or did you just say, we're partners, like inseparable, conjoined twins? That's what I told him. I filled him in on these secret safes. Then that means... Yeah, I know. I had only just taught him too. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. Oh, I can't quite believe it, but the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. He's claiming that the victim was the thief. And you're simply trying to stop him, weren't you? Miss Maggie Bird. Excuse me? I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far even for your risky profession. What? You're still accusing Maggie of the murder? Yes and no, I mean she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it, it was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I couldn't. I could never do something like that, not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if you was a thief, you wouldn't have the key to his office. Which is precisely why he had to steal it, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Ah! Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us, unless... well, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way for everything to make sense. He has no honor. No, and I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you be so kind as to see ourselves out? Can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. But I'm the one who's been assigned this case. You're all suspects to varying degrees, and therefore ineligible to run the show. Listen, pal. How many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. What, sir? We've no choice but to accommodate his request for now. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Mark my words, Mr. Portsman, we will meet again. If that's a formal request from a legendary prosecutor himself, I suppose so. No, don't disappoint me, you're here. To be continued. Good as ever to save. Yeah, sure. Overwriting this one should be okay. And here it continues. March 14, 4:18 AM. Prosecutor's building, 12th floor hallway. And yes, I'm still eating, at least a bit. What is with this prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please, please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. Oh, we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. Bro. So then, what now? Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Birdie. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Oh, really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of this argument against Miss Birdie is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding a mystery surrounding my door. And start of another investigation. Let's see where I can go. It looks like you're in quite a pinch, Mr. Edgeworth. To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly, post-haste. Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door's always open. How gracious. I'll keep your offer in mind. There's this guy again. So, alright. I can walk to the left, walk to the right, have a few plans and take it in stride. But otherwise, let's see. Is everything alright? Yes, sir. If you must know, I weighted myself this morning, and I'm finally at 154 pounds. Congratulations, but I was asking about this hallway and this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. A word of advice, stay focused, or you may start to lose even more weight. What's a basketball hoop doing here? Hey, this used to be just outside next to the building a long time ago. So, when and why was it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here recently. Drag it? I heard it wouldn't fit for the elevator, so the poor guy had to to bring it himself. All the way up to the 12th floor? Well, that's an awful long way, and I guess not exactly good for whatever type of flooring that is. Considering it's Maggie, what is... I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case. I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. I can't let this chance pass by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. Should jog her memory by showing my notes to her with. Have you ever met with Victor before? Well, I've seen him a couple of times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman's office. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Portsman, so that sounds like fun. Just once, I'd love to play with him. Sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Portsman. Honestly, if it was passing with the ball, so on second thought, I don't think I have fit in all that well with him. Maggie Bird, correct? I take it that you are an acquaintance of the detective. She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day, she got caught up in a murder, and things started going downhill, so she quit. I owe Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. So I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night. You got caught up in the whirlwind of his case, correct? Don't worry, my life's been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. So I was 6 months old when I fell from the ninth floor of my apartment building. I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster. And now, I even managed to be named a criminal, just when I become a security guard. That's a lot to go through in one lifetime. I know. Just when I thought I had finally found my happiness, when end up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck. You need to worry about me, Miss Birdie, nor do you need to worry about yourself. I'll solve this case and prove your innocence. All I'll ask in return is for your cooperation. Yes, sir. Sir Edgeworth, you can count on me. I'll do all I can to help. Let's see. Olvi Masaki. She may need to tell us a little more. So, when did you discover that Masaki was missing? By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 AM, sir. I noticed it was back on. It was back around 2:30. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times, it was not just gone but stolen, sir. Yeah, big chomp. And why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? It's not always like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. Always to say, except for this time, right? Well, I admit that was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it that I left it sitting out in the on the ledge. She used the master key. That's an important detail. What do you mean by use the master key? Oh. I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? What is it? That's right, I just remembered the prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. What? Please tell me more, Miss Worthy, quickly. Trump. It was around 12 AM. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the master key to him. No way. It's against regulation to loan the master key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then? What happened after that? Well, he called for me to close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30, I think. So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. Talk about suspicious. I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at the home, detective. I think this calls for a thorough investigation of Mr. Portsman's door. What's basketball doing here? That's Mr. Portsman's prized possession, sir. I heard you also play soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. And not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. Not rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. That would be my door. A minimalist yet classy door made of top-quality wood. Sturdy made, making it near impossible to break in by force. It's almost majestic, sir. I wish I could be as stately as this door. Gumshoe would praise the door for something greater than himself. Being a detective has its own rewards, and a certain virtuous value, I think. If you live up to your full potential, that's a poignant trait that anyone can admire. See, so you're saying, sir, that me being me is the best thing I can do for everyone. Right. That's a long pause. That long pause wasn't exactly reassuring, sir. 1202. Those four numbers on the number plate alone proclaim this to be my office. Yes. Whoops. Hey. These number plates slide out, right? They have to be able to take the plates off when a room becomes vacant, you know. Although, the idea that it is so easily removed is kind of... well, yeah, you could call it evidence. Don't see any signs of forced entry, and according to the guard, no signs of it. The lock was picked either, so... and that the door really was opened with a key. They opened to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob. Apparently, the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wiped, they think. Whoever this is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. Nothing here. Oh, there's something below that. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. I believe we already fought that. A well-crafted, high-quality surface for visitors. The stitching is excellent. Talk about a luxury waiting area. These babies are also great for napping, you know. You won't sleep, even not here, detective, in the hallway. Whenever I do, I always wind up dreaming about giving testimony up on the stand. But it always ends the same way. Me getting trounced by a lawyer. Isn't this awful? I should give it a try sometimes to envision myself winning on it, actually. But we also have that here. It's... ah! Isn't that the missing O-series file, sir? No doubt about it. Bloody letter marks as... well, the bloody letter mark it clear as day. Seems to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. So, what are these O-files about, sir? Guess I got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly. Just a collection of court cases files, however. Cases with these files were not mine. Oh. They belong to the High Prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they are. Then, that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. Wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. Curiously, that may imply that a certain other prosecutor was involved. Well, another door to inspect. And rest until you, like usual. Room 1203. I take it that this is Mr. Portsman's office. Yeah, you can't mistake it because of the... yeah, you can't just mistake it because of the basketball hoop, sir. That reminds me. Mr. Portsman had actually wanted room 1202 really badly. Since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him in next door. Why was Mr. Portson in particular about getting room 1202? I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like this birthday is December 2nd. Yep, that's gotta be it. Can't think of any other reason why. I can think of at least three. Why am I even wasting my time thinking about this? Oh, that is the same as we already had. Wow. Then we got more or less the code where it works. Oh, it still seems signified when Mr. Payne. Mr. Payne, suppose custodial work can also be dignified. Alright, I skipped over something here. And of course, the most notable thing of all here is Mr. Portsmouth's personal basketball hoop. It's Mr. Portsmouth's personal basketball hoop. I can't believe he put something like this in the hallway of a prosecutor's office. But you know, it's actually quite useful, sir. Well, you haven't gotten lost trying to get to your office since it's been here. No, never have I had the same office, and yet you still managed to get lost. Let's see. Maybe we are at the logic point. So, let's review for a moment. The files are now the cabinet. The files on the shelves are rearranged. Apparently, twice they were rearranged. A big question is why. The master key has been missing between 1 AM and 2:30. Somewhere after 1 AM, after it had been used to unlock an office, it had been stolen, and after it was later requested again, we knew it was back. We know there's a second-hand gun. Considering that at least one of those two weapons may have been fired into the victim, the other one against the frame on the wall. Also, there is still the fact that the master key had been used. At the very least, this in conjunction is rather interesting because there's a notable gap between the relatively important points here. After all, we know it had the key was back after all. Miss Birdie, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You said you locked up Mr. Portsman's office at around 1:30 AM, correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at the time. Well, nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I totally forgotten about that, but thanks to you, I remember now. You're right. It was around that very time that I realized the master key was missing. And? Well, I'm security guard, sir. I can't just admit losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended. Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, you never did relock the room then. Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. So, the office door should at least be open. In theory, at least. Well, I'm still always questioning my audio balance as well as if I'm heard at all. Would be nice if someone who has an account, of course, would every once in a while write in the chat something I do not have to ban on account of promoting fraudulent activities off platform. But yeah, that's it for now. Let's see. Maybe I can check if there's something now. The door's locked tight. I bet old credit card trick wouldn't work here. Huh? What's Edgeworth? There's the office of a high prosecutor detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. Ah, so I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be who our culprit is. I advise you to return that conclusion to whatever pawn shop you just bought it from. Oh, that is, however, a contradiction. This is spot somewhere connected to an evidence I hold. Well, Miss Birdie said she was incapable of relocking it. There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Birdie said has been true, then why is this door locked tight? You know, you're right. Miss Birdie, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I'm certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman noticed it himself that I hadn't. That means what, sir? It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Birdie opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door? But how can you prove that? Easy way to find out. All we need to do is we need to examine these. Prints we know would be once again wiped clean. There's no reason to suspect the prints on the master key to be any different if the culprit has used it, since he has a notable. I just noticed that this basketball hoop, the net is not quite correct and has been cut off below. Huh. Who would have thought that? Yeah. There's no reason to expect the new prints on the master key. Anyone who was, that detailed about wiping off any prints he could leave would leave them on a master key, especially under such circumstances with all the other stuff. So there's most likely only Birdie's prints here, leaving the number plates as the only thing. They're easily removable, so that's something to start it. The print on the number plates. They tell us all we need to know. Everything, really? Like what, sir? Well, curious. But I need to know for sure Detective Gumshoe's dinner will only consist of instant noodles. Wow, that's amazing, sir. How did you know? Alright, I did not expect this to go wrong. And again, I may still lack a bit of a duck in my deduction. What was supposed to be a joke to cheer me up, Mr. Edgeworth? That's it. Now then, we should get back to doing what we need to do, that is... Next of note would be the doorknob. If something's foul at play, Mr. and Miss Birdie was the last one to interact with the door. Then of course, I see it. If this isn't the right door, and Miss Birdie didn't come into contact within a certain amount of time with it, then this would mean that either no door would have any prints if all of them were wiped clean, or of course this door may not have a print at all. But mine has, for example. The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything. Hey you! Yeah you pal! Do us a favor and see what you can lift from this, okay? So, what do you find out? There's no need for such belligerent nostril flaring, detective. Sir, I've found only Mr. Portsman's and Mr. the face prints on this doorknob. Oh, only 2 plus prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. Oh, I'm lost, sir. Logically, a certain other person's print should be on this doorknob as well. And then whose prints would also be here? Well, obviously Miss Birdie, considering if she has unlocked and locked it. Also, if anything had been wiped clean after the fact, Mr. the face shouldn't be on it, considering that, well, he was kind of indisposed at that moment in time when it could have been wiped clean.
Take that!
Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean? Yes, the door that Miss Birdie opened could not have been this one, but a different one. And so, we have a bit of an upgrade to our organizer. What have we here? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious looking inorganic cranny. Would be nice if he wouldn't repeat everything every time, all the time. This basketball property of Mr. Portman? Yes sir, you're always ready for a match. Basketball, soccer, dodgeball, tennis, doesn't seem to matter what sport he's doing. Although I think it'd be a little hard to play tennis with this ball. That isn't the point you should be focusing on, detective. Alright, sir. Now I know what I should be focusing on. That, Mr. Portsman. Someone should teach him to clean up his toys after he's done playing. I think we've reached the end of this conversation. Something under the door. What is this? It's like a scrap of paper. Okay, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it. Looks like a note from the victim. I brought 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone. But it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up to you later, buddy. Yeah, and it's for Mr. Portsman. And that seems suspicious. What's this? What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about the game? It's okay, Jacob. I just found the position of this hoop a bit off. Yeah, if that's carpet, that's definitely an indent. You're right, sir. I guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. The position of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I'd better take note of it. So supposedly I have everything I need. Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely. Huh? How so, sir? A variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case. Know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth. As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman. What? Mr. Portsman? I knew it. That's exactly why my logic senses were telling me to. I suspect it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir. That's anything but logical. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Come what may. It's time to knock on truth's door. March 14th, 5:12 AM. High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Mr. Portsman, we finished processing the bloody letters, sir. Alright, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there. Take good care of this. Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. Another line for you, Portland. We've got you now. Call off your dog, Miss Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jack Portman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So, I guess you can stay, if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job. I can see right through the unsightly paint puffin mask you wear upon your cowl. Water time. Would have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? The legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 years. But there was always this incessant chatter about his forged evidence with that guy. It teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know. And I'm trying to play mind games with me, because they won't work. The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for is explaining yourself. Alright, yeah. Need to know everything's going well, after all. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though you have yet to prove anything. Mr. Portsman's rebuttal. Need music. I've no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but There's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, oh, may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something. Show you what I'm basing my accusations on, with evidence. No, it's, we already had that, but what we didn't have is a pressing matter in it. My accusation is a harebrained idea, is it? You tell me? I'd say it is, after all. There's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit.
Hold it!
Would you clarify that? Oh, and what, pray tell, kind of evidence are we talking about here? Jim was my partner, so you can't say I have a motive for killing him. And that's it? There's not even an anthill, let alone a mountain? But it's more than enough, wouldn't you agree? I recommend that you review what the word evidence means. It doesn't change the fact that the evidence doesn't point to me as the killer. Besides, how may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here?
Hold it!
Does he want to say more? Unfortunately, I believe I have already shown how earlier. The speculations mean nothing, as I still insist that I could not gain access to your room. Sure. I'll return to it later. I need to gather a bit of information. What's wrong? Don't tell me all you wanted to do was find fault in my flawless logic. Okay, I feel bad doing this, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Don't think so. Oh, why's that? Because there is a flaw in your reasoning. Are you calling me a liar? So, where's your proof? The saying evidence is everything isn't limited to just the courtroom, you know. Huh. You need not remind me. I'll show you all the evidence you want in time. So, I guess either that or an objection raised in it would be the reasonable part here. Our data point is limited, but we do have the corresponding idea.
Hold it!
You claim you have no way of opening my door, however, is that really the honest truth? Alright, I'll humor you. Go ahead, shoot. Very well, then. I propose that you use this to open my door. Huh. I never inspected the master key. The master key to every office in the building. Any more than that? Well, doesn't matter anyway. Yeah.
Take that!
I believe you were able to open my office door with the master key, no less.
Objection!
Wait. Hold on a sec. I never laid finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only too direct. That's right, you used your finger to direct this person to open the door with the key. Well, that's obviously Maggie Bird in this case.
Take that!
You'd ask Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know. The room you had, Miss Birdie, open at the time was not your own, was it? Wait, what? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure it I was opening the right doors, sir. See, Miss Birdie backs up my story. Yet, what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you wanted? And how do you suppose I did that? Especially number plates or doors, for example. That's right, we do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you're used to one other thing to give a very strong impression. That the door she was opening was yours and not in fact mine. What was it Mr. Portsman used to make Spurdy think it was his room? Well, there's a rather glaring thing we already seen, namely that big-ass basketball hoop.
Take that!
What? A basketball hoop, sir? It's quite a particular fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building. Which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a particular prosecutor. Yeah. That's true, sir. Because there was a basketball hoop sitting there, I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman's. There are signs that the hoop has been moved. It's in front of my office, to be sure. I see, so that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. So, conjecture's repeat. Now, you're just spouting nonsense. I had to go open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. Oh, he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Birdie is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. My jacket's not dirty. I have you know I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down. But I intend to show who is truly covered in slime here. Now you're just spotting nonsense.
Hold it!
Nonsense, you say? Yes, because I'm telling the truth here. I had a girl open the door to my office.
Hold it!
Using a master key, of course. Sure. You have a problem with that? That is what the master key is for, right? Perhaps we should place it in an elaborate labyrinth of some sort for people like you. After that, I was in my room the entire time.
Hold it!
And what were you doing in your office? I was doing my usual training regimen. Training regimen? Were you going through your law books from start to finish? Mainly betting practice in some ways. Oh, and I jog when I get a chance. Wow. You must be the bossest prosecutor we have. With the weakest legal muscle, it would seem. I was doing my usual workout, so you don't have a single reason to suspect me.
Hold it!
I think I've given quite a few reasons actually. But none of those would stand up on their own.
Objection!
Then what about all the evidence?
Objection!
It's all circumstantial. No judge would convict on such flimsy evidence. So we're trembling a bit. One more little push. All I have to do is find the flaw in his testimony. Dun, 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 dun. After that, I was the entire time in my room. I'm rather sure you weren't. Question is, what exactly is the evidence? Oh wait. I'm relatively sure he wasn't, considering the victim left a note under his door, and one would assume at least that it's rather hard to present. Well, for one, to potentially open the door without pushing it at least aside, not noticing it, or for the victim in that case to just push it under the door after having been killed. So let's go with that. That was a lie. What are you talking about? How was that a lie? This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door, or did you not notice? And right here it says, but you're out. We are not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you, and what were you doing? Wow. Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around my room, the very room you had Miss Birdie open for you.
Objection!
That's just nonsense! You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Well, but I do. I have the very decisive evidence. No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Birdie open the door for you. Well, I guess the door, or more precisely, the lack of fingerprints, her fingerprints on his door, would be that in that case.
Take that!
I had your door dusted for prints. My door? Oh, what for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You're sure good at wasting time. Alright, I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Birdie's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, her print should naturally be on the doorknob she touches. Further, all of the prints on my room's doorknob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Birdie's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up on your charade? We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me, and Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune of return when you did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said, when you had a gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. And just what's so funny, pal? Well, that look of seriousness on your face, on the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me, is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all, and he backed it up. You are the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit the crime already. And, as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You said you checked my doorknob for prints. Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that down as well. I'm a little obsessive compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that had been touched, which is why I wiped the doorknob down as soon as I could after I opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own prints would be on there. You made that up just now, did you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like early evening, for example. I say you failed to notice a note in your doorway. Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse. Now that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. Ah, but you can't prove it now, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir. Yeah, Portsman makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only just realized I had one as we were talking. I guess it would be it would have been better for all of us if I had told you sooner. Portsman's alibi. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 AM, correct? And it was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at that exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. The perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe. So, yes sir, I go check out his alibi. I'll be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys done criminal affairs there, they saw him around 2 AM. You see? The evidence points to him being the culprit. So, there must be a contradicting point in his alibi somewhere. We'll see. Memory serves, you came back to the office at around 2 AM, correct?
Hold it!
You are correct. It was around 2 AM. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you were spot on with the time. I remember checking my watch then, and make no mistake, it was 2. Oh, giving testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to the office at 2. And it was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. Well, let's press on that for a moment.
Hold it!
Or for that matter. It is as you say, however, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So, tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see it. Well, come now. I'm sure you said something. Try a little harder. Why don't you? Beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. Only matters that you ran into the culprit. But exactly at that time I was down in criminal affairs. So, you paid the criminal defense department a visit. Yep. Right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight for the precinct. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's a perfect alibi. Well, we did go around to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time. See, I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Impossible, he actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we've reached the end of the line, and it's time to get off this crazy train. Huh. You there, sir? Please escort a young lady out. But remember, be gentle. Maggie? Maggie! Detective Gumshoe! It's there. Nothing I can do. There must be a way to turn the situation around. If only I had a clue that I missed something that can help me cast doubt on this alibi. I need to calmly think this through one more time, and with logic. Well, in all cases, the handgun may be a crucial piece of evidence. There's a chance in that case that there's a very good chance this is correct to combine with it. However, the files in disarray may also very well be a reason. After all, if there was another handgun, it could very well be that whoever caused the second amount of disarray also looked through the files. So, these two may go well together. Unsurprisingly, they don't, so it's the other. These don't quite fit together. Another handgun means another person. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been property of an entirely different person. Which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. So I once again jumped the gun, so to speak, by well, prematurely using the files for the right reason, but with the wrong evidence because I didn't have the right one yet. Of course, those two had to be it. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight. That would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upturned twice. We know that shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of two different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by our second culprit. Who was the owner of the second gun? If we suppose the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back.
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, it seems I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great. So you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth. Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I'd assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? So does that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, two culprits stole into my office tonight. What? Do you mean two? It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were two guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Birdie and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading arguments. You still don't have any actual proof, you know? If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then, this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct? And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else. Who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office. Would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into the office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came here, I found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. Waited for a chance, stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he also had left the fake dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another? A visitor, sir? Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so I stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time They were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. Is the stolen O file, right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. A second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shelves getting messed up twice, and the 2 bullets. It was all because 2 different people were doing those things at 2 different times. Precisely. So now, do you see it, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief, and was not in fact Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory's right. It would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there's still one defining point of your argument, for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that it was the first visitor. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with it, sir. But he has a point. I've absolutely no proof at this point. Don't say that, sir. I don't believe it. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat particular, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is this person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. And another confrontation occurs. That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, shouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They may still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver the evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around a year after I left. So you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course. Now isn't it time to have to be having these dead-end discussions? I don't think it's all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? You? He's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. And time to be once again in a pressing matter. That thief you ran into should be a real suspect, wouldn't you say?
Hold it!
Actually, no, I wouldn't. But why not? That's elementary, the dying message, of course. Mr. Fake's killer very clearly left those letters on the spines of those files. And it was after they were on there that a thief stole one of them. You mean the Yo files, right? That's how we also know that the letters themselves were set up and not from Mr. Faith. If the thief was the killer, do you think they would try to undermine themselves? Yeah. Maybe the killer just didn't think of that either. Yes, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe. We should be out there for looking at a thief right now. They may be still nearby. Once escaped, I doubt the thief would linger nearby. Well, you never know. Maybe they didn't get what they were really after. Oh, you talk like you know quite a bit about this thief. It's nothing like that. I have no idea about anything, after all. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver the evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs. I didn't press this one. Let's see if there's more to it. But according to Mr. Faith's note, hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. And we say Jim left that note for me in the early evening. If you have proof that he left it in a different time, say just before he was murdered. I don't have any, no. See, so I insist again that I was in my room at the entire time. And when, yeah. Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith? That's because he said he was tired and I was going to take a quick nap. You know, those sofas in the hallways, he likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. What of the evidence he brought? Well, things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. He brought me 2 items, a gun and a pendant. That's related to yesterday's case. Can you elaborate further? A gun and a pendant? Yes, this gun, which was the murder weapon. And this pendant, which belonged to the victim. And why were you taking them to Criminal Affairs? Well, something in the past case file that I wanted to compare to these 2. But all this has nothing to do with this case right now. Anyway, I believe you'll find the long paper trail I left to your satisfaction. This is all matching up with what Detective Gumshoe found out. So, I can't expect to know what happened around the time here I left. Can you elaborate further? I can't expect you to know, can I? Nope, but I guess you can expect me to take a guess based on logical deduction. Oh, well, let's hear your deduce. Jim waited for me to leave and then stole the master key for the purpose of sneaking into your room, of course. And that's when Miss Birdie caught him red-handed and the murder occurred. It's all exactly as I had laid out earlier. Oh, he's lying. I know he was there at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it. Oh, let's file through that. Irrelevant, most likely. Just training. Is that of greater relevance here? That's the bigger question. What do I have? That wasn't what I wanted to do, but it is ironically correctly because it, well, we know it was about those evidence he wanted to bring for one, and it talked about 3. Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is you fail. Excuse me. You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully. It says Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe! To get tripped up by a simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe. Didn't have to say it, sir. I pat down the guy, I pat down the guy from head to toe. What? Don't come any closer, I'm warning you. It's all part of the investigations, pal. So, don't you even think about stopping me. No! What's this? Yeah, this honor, sir. Despite what you just said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. But why would you hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. Or this section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin. Oh, that's rather incriminating. There's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No, you've got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you were you told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you'll tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video? Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it at the moment of his death? Or did Detective Faith have this videotape on his person when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine his tape for fingerprints. If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderers you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible. Yeah. Buddy, eating metals is not good for your health. March 14th, 4:47 AM. High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. Mr. Portsman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. The results so you got back from the lab text on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. Blood work came back, and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, we were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside of courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in all of my murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. Well, it was nothing really compared to what I've been through, sir. I mean, I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and this time, sir. If it had been a hold-up or hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from the goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsman really was one corrupt prosecutor. Why would you say that he was corrupt? Oh, I heard that there were a number of suspicious things related to these court cases. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he used is forged, so... Forged evidence, huh? And they say even the SI did not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Oh, that guy was a complete disgrace for the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whether we got near the topic, he just climbed up. Although, we can be pretty certain it was to steal something. It's just between you and me, sir, but... There's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh, well. With Mr. Port's willing to divulge anything, so at least lends credence to that. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. It would seem we haven't heard the last of this. Well, the Portsman isn't the bad guy. I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to this piece of evidence. Well, I'd say it's the stolen file. Unless, of course, it's my prosecutor's badge. Then, no.
Take that!
The person who stole this file. The other villain of the night. Yeah, wonder who that is. And what happened to these stolen pages? I wonder who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint. Miss Edgeworth, sir? Yes? I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir. This card. What is it, sir? Is there a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It's the mark of a raven. A three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about. Yes, it is a mark of a great thief, Yatagarasu. On the mark of the legendary bird, Yatagarasu is noble to the end. A modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. Theft is always performed in silence and always with perfection. Once the target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with this single card. Although it has been a while since the Yatagarasu last appeared. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see that. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. So, the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu organization. Quite a few keywords are popping up in this mystery. A murder in my office. A return of the great thief Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. Oh, they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. And to another part of the story. Oh, obviously. Yeah. I guess I'll just overwrite this. So, that would be episode 1 done for now at least. Now then, I am currently, well, I'm a bit on the struggling side with myself right now. I guess it's a good idea if I, for now, end this stream at least here. I may return later today, and well, maybe I can finally make a habit of streaming more or less daily or something along the lines. However, that in this case at least would be something I will have to come to terms with, and to start my more regular appearances, considering the last one is over 6 months ago. Who knows? Maybe I can finally get this under the way. So, for the moment at least, I noticed that I could have cut out my little break from the recording I have locally, but well, all in a day's work and everyone has to start somewhere. So, for the moment, I wish you a good day. I may return later. So, maybe not stay tuned, but maybe you can stay and see for a while. On that note, while I may end my own streaming, I could just check. Maybe someone who deserves it may be available for raiding. Also something new from me. Dun 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 dun. Oh, curious. Apparently, I'm not the only one playing right now. And also, it seems that having an avatar, a VTuber avatar, is quite a bit of an advantage, it seems. Well, well, guess I'll not try that with raiding and all of this. So, for now, I wish you all a good day. Or those few of you at least.